In the previous section, we discussed the importance of escrow neutrality, the requirement for conflict of interest disclosures, and the prohibitions on compensation or inducements that could compromise impartiality. Those principles lay the ethical and legal foundation for the escrow process, ensuring trust among all parties. This section builds on that understanding by focusing on the role of an escrow company in facilitating real estate transactions, emphasizing how these entities function as the operational backbone of the closing process and ensure compliance with Arizona law. An escrow company acts as a neutral third party that holds, manages, and disperses funds and documents according to the terms of a real estate purchase agreement. The company's function extends beyond simple document handling. It coordinates every step necessary to bring the transaction to a lawful and successful conclusion. Escrow companies in Arizona are licensed and regulated by the Arizona Department of Financial Institutions, AZDFI, under ARS PR 6841 SEQ, ensuring they meet strict financial, ethical, and operational standards. At its core, the escrow company's role is to provide security, transparency, and procedural accuracy throughout the transaction. When a buyer and seller agree to terms and execute a purchase contract, they designate an escrow company to manage the closing process. The company's first duty is to establish an escrow account where earnest money, deposits, and other funds are held in trust until all conditions of the contract are fulfilled. These funds are not owned by the escrow company. They remain the property of the parties involved until properly disbursed, according to written escrow instructions. Once escrow is opened, the escrow company acts as the central coordinator between multiple parties: buyers, sellers, real estate agents, lenders, title insurers, and attorneys. Each of these participants provides documentation and information that must be verified, processed, and integrated before closing can occur. The escrow officer oversees this process, ensuring compliance with contractual terms, lender requirements, and statutory obligations. For example, the escrow company verifies payoff amounts for existing loans, ensures that taxes and liens are paid, obtains title commitments, and prepares the final settlement statement. Arizona case law, including Berkians versus Ticor Title Insurance Co. of California, 1991, underscores that escrow companies and officers act as fiduciaries to both parties. They must follow the written instructions of the escrow agreement precisely and cannot exercise discretion or partiality. In practice, this means the company cannot release funds, record documents, or alter any terms without proper authorization. If either party fails to perform, escrow holds all funds and documents until mutual resolution or a court order is obtained. In addition to facilitating the closing, escrow companies ensure the transaction's legal validity through coordination with the county recorder's office and title insurers. After confirming that all contingencies have been satisfied, such as financing, inspections, and required disclosures, the escrow company records the deed and any associated instruments, such as a deed of trust or affidavit of property value. This recordation gives public notice of ownership transfer, making the transaction legally enforceable. Only after the deed is recorded does the escrow company release funds to the seller, pay off liens, and distribute commissions. For example, in a residential sale in Phoenix, once the buyer's lender funds the loan and the escrow officer verifies the wire transfer, the escrow company prepares the closing package. The officer confirms that all signatures are complete, prorations are calculated, and all taxes and fees are current. Upon verification, the deed is recorded with the Maricopa County Recorder's Office. After recordation, the escrow officer releases the seller's proceeds, pays off the seller's existing mortgage, distributes commissions to both brokers, and issues final settlement statements to all parties. This process illustrates the escrow company's central role as the facilitator of closing, ensuring legal compliance, security, and fairness. Escrow companies also play a critical role in risk mitigation by maintaining detailed records of all disbursements and communications. They protect both parties in the event of a dispute. For example, if a disagreement arises over the condition of a property or the timing of possession, escrow documentation provides an objective record of events. Under ARS, paragraph 32, Toan 51.01, brokers are required to maintain transaction records for 5 years, and escrow companies follow a similar standard to preserve records that may later be required for audits, litigation, or regulatory review. In modern Arizona real estate, escrow companies have evolved to accommodate increasingly complex transactions. In addition to standard residential sales, they handle commercial transactions, new construction projects, refinance closings, and even bulk land purchases. Their systems integrate closely with title insurance providers, lenders, and governmental agencies, creating a seamless process that ensures compliance from start to finish. Discussion: what is the primary role of an escrow company in a real estate transaction? Answer: to act as a neutral third party that holds funds and documents, ensuring all contractual and legal conditions are satisfied before ownership and funds are transferred. Why is the escrow company required to maintain neutrality? Answer: because it owes fiduciary duties to both buyer and seller and must execute all escrow instructions without bias, ensuring fairness and compliance with Arizona law. What happens after all escrow conditions are met and the deed is recorded? Answer: the escrow company releases funds, pays off existing obligations, disburses commissions, and provides final settlement statements to complete the transaction. Review summary: the escrow company serves as the operational and legal backbone of Arizona's real estate closing process. Acting under state licensing and fiduciary standards, it ensures that funds, documents, and obligations are managed in strict compliance with the contract and applicable law. Its duties include safeguarding earnest money, verifying payoff demands, coordinating with lenders and title companies, and recording deeds to finalize the transfer of ownership. Escrow companies must remain neutral, adhere to written instructions, and disclose any potential conflicts of interest to protect all parties involved. Arizona case law, particularly Burkons versus Tycor Title, affirms that escrow companies are fiduciaries bound by fairness and honesty. By managing every logistical and legal detail of closing, escrow companies transform contractual agreements into completed, lawful transfers of property ownership while maintaining the integrity and security of the process.